What is going on with the Tennessee tickets? You were telling me about this. You wrote an article about this?
I did, yeah. I wrote a column yesterday. The AD there, Danny White, credit to him that he has become he's transparent with this and just said, hey, we have all of this money that we're gonna be on the hook for as college athletic departments through this settlement, which could be $30 million in terms of, for revenue sharing and everything else that's coming down the pipe.
A settlement in a court case in which players are going to have to be compensated
across
all
the board.
Athletes,
yes,
right.
Thank you. And so if it's upwards of $30 million a year
per school,
yeah. I mean, so how do you get to that point? Well, now all of a sudden, this would be about a third, I think, on their projections. Now, why I think it's smart is Tennessee's timing on it is very shrewd. If you look at it this way,
what are they doing?
So they are increasing season tickets for basically about 10%, and that could bring in up to $10 million across the board.
So all Tennessee season ticket holders for next year are going to see a 10% increase
for a talent fee, and what
that's what it's called.
That's what he referenced it when we talked yesterday. Yes.
Talent fee.
And so now whether it goes to NIL, because I asked him about a distinction. Because on the front end of NIL, when they were 7 and 6, their collective, Spire Sports, did a deal with a high school quarterback from here in Southern California, Nico Imaleava, who was a big recruit but unproven. He wasn't a college player, and the deal was $8 million approximately. That is a huge bet that they made on him. Now, after that, they have this great year where they finished sixth in the country, 11-2. Hendon Hooker's the star quarterback. And from that point on, the balls have been rolling. And remember, before that time, it had been about 15 years of futility and embarrassment. From the end of Phil Fulmer to Lane Kiffin being there and not being there, to Derek Dooley, who was like one debacle after another, to Butch Jones, and then even Jeremy Pruitt and all that. So they got it rolling. The fan base, who's incredibly passionate and loyal, now they're engaged. They've won their first 3 games by like a combined score of like 190-13. And the quarterback who they spent, they're spending $8 million for, he was the MVP of the bowl game last year in his first real start, and he's looked good so far. So that looks like a good bet. This looks like a very smart bet. I don't think there's that many schools who can make this ask, because as the AD told me yesterday, they have a wait list for season tickets for 15,000 people. So
I know that. It's just, again, like, what are we doing?
It's like, big business.
I know, I understand that, but why can't we all get together? Why can't there be a system where we understand where this ruling comes in? Now let's all, as smart people in various conferences that have similar issues, get together and come up with a way to run it that schools aren't like standing on the sports street corner asking people who are driving by to roll down their windows. You know what I mean? Like, to be very honest here, like, this is the way that's how we're going to attack the problem, is ask the diehard fans for 10% more because we can't figure out the rest, because a whole bunch of people can't get in a room to figure out how to work NIL and portal and paying the players and scheduling and figure it all out as smart educators and administrators in the world. Really? We can't do that?
The smart educators and administrators have had the NCAA for a long time, and there's been a lot of flawed stuff with that.
I know, so let's figure out a different way.
Let's not give them too much credit on that front. But so if you're like, the NIL piece of this, and because I asked him specifically about, is there a distinction? Do you make any distinction between the revenue sharing and all the stuff that is coming down the pipe versus the NIL challenges of now? Because what you hear a lot is, a lot of schools only have a handful of big boosters, and that's not a sustainable model.
No.
And so you're seeing, and I don't want to say Tennessee's payroll is now $20 million for the roster, but it is a big difference between some of these schools of what they're paying, within conferences, not to say like Michigan versus Fresno State.
I understand.
And I think that's the part where it's like, if you tell fans, and I think this was a smart thing on a lot of levels by Tennessee. One of the things what they did was, by telling fans up front, hey, this is what it's for, I think the rationale is going to be for a lot of fans, hey, I want us to beat Alabama. and to do this, if that means I'm paying a little more for us to beat them, to make it happen, I'm on board with that. If you're just saying, oh, we're raising, if you don't tell them what the increase is for, then I think people are like, oh, it's just another thing that somebody's tapping into my wallet. I think when you're specific, and then certain fans are going to sit there and go, okay, well, I had a role in helping this team, the team I love more than anything, then I feel like, they're going to be engaged. Now, if they go 6-6, they're going to be ticked off. But that's the nature of sports, where if teams aren't, look, I'm sure you'll feel differently about your coaching staff if they're winning a national title versus if they plummet to 6-6.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.